This is Bless Radio. It's Tuesday evening and it's just past 6 p.m. the time. This is the Spiritual Discussion Program. I'm Sal, and today I'm in Scotland, the north of, let's say, near Inverness, not in Inverness, but outside of Inverness. So, and here the weather is, well, it's been quite nice. It's just a few clouds, sunny. Uh, with me, and the temperature I think was 14, 15 degrees today, centigrade. With me, as usual, is Gregory. Gregory, how are you? And is the weather where you are?
Well, it's been very mild today, and it's been beautiful. It's getting dark here.
Okay. Yes. Yes. No, we are not dark yet. The sun is still out here in Scotland. So welcome, listeners, to this spiritual discussion program. The aim of this show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the GRAIL message by Abdushin. Greg, if you can go on mute, that's great. And we have a new topic for discussion every week. The topic tonight is only in giving can you receive. Only in giving can you receive. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. I'm going to begin with what is the GRAIL message? The GRAIL message in the light of truth by Abdushin is a spiritual knowledge of life. It offers an explanation of the world, a picture of creation on the basis of natural laws. Its lectures contain valuable basic elements as a help in life. For through the knowledge mediated, the reader is again brought closer to life and led back to God. The GRAIL message deals with important fundamental questions of life by explaining in a clear and logical way the automatic working of the laws of nature, the whole weaving of creation, allowing every process to be recognized and thereby the purpose of our whole life. It is directed at the individual and speaks to the innate experiences of the human being, their strengths and weaknesses. Thus, every reader has the opportunity to discover through the intuitive perception if what is stated is the truth. Combining with matter-of-fact reasoning, a complete world picture arises, where there is no separation between the visible world and the great world beyond the five senses, nor any separation between scientific and religious striving for knowledge. I'd like to give you a couple of quotes from the author of the GRAIL message, Abdushin. The hearer and reader of my lectures should always work within himself, keenly probing and building bridges from one lecture to the other, as well as out into the great and small world happenings. Only then will he be able to understand the GRAIL message and find that it gradually shapes itself into one complete whole without leaving any gaps. Again and again, in all the happenings, the reader will come back to the basic features. He can explain everything without having to change even one single sentence. The word of the GRAIL message lives, so that it permits only those people who really carry the honest desire in their souls to find abundantly. All else is automatically rejected by it. For the arrogant and those who seek superficially, the message will remain the book with 7 seals. And I'd like to give you one more quote from the author. I wish to fill the gaps which have so far always remained unanswered in the souls of men, and which never leave any serious thinker in peace if he earnestly seeks for the truth. So, dear listeners, just to remind you, the topic we are discussing tonight is only in giving can you receive. Only in giving can you receive. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. Gregory, as you know, I always like to look up the words in the topic in the dictionary. So tonight's topic is only in giving can you receive. So for me, the first keyword there is giving or give. So I looked it up there, and it says in the dictionary, the meaning of give: freely transfer the possession of something to someone. Freely transfer the possession of something to someone. And the example they gave is, she gave him presents and clothes. I know it sounds very earthly there. There's a second word meaning given as well, but let's look at this one, Gregory. So is that a good meaning for the discussion tonight, the meaning of give?
Well, thanks. You yourself already mentioned that it's very earthly. It doesn't give the sort of picture that will be very helpful in these sort of discussions.
Okay, so before you add anything further, I want to give you a second definition from the dictionary. So that says, cause or allow someone or something to have or experience something, provide with. So that is the second definition in the dictionary: cause or allow someone or something to have experience of something. In other words, provide with. What do you say to that?
Again, we find that the intuitive picture is not really very clear.
Right. Okay, so what would you like to add to that, Gregory, on this meaning of giving or give?
Well, any addition must provide an intuitive picture in accordance with the creative laws, in which when that expression given, that means there's an outflow from one to another.
Okay, that sounds, I was going to, in my head suddenly the word exchange came, but it's not quite like that, isn't it? It's not an exchange, it's can you just say it again, Gregory, what you were saying there? Outflow, you said?
Outflow, yeah.
Yeah, out.
From one to another.
One to another. So that's in one direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's not an exchange there. Okay. From one to another. Okay, thank you for that. We will now continue. The next word there, the key word for me, is receive. And that in the dictionary, it says be given, presented with, or paid something, and that's in brackets. So just be paid. So that to receive, it's again there are two meanings they're given, Gregory. So I just want to focus on this first one. The meaning of the word receive, given in the put in the dictionary, it says be given, presented with, or paid. Um, what would you say on that one?
These expressions are still very, though correct, but still very restricted.
Right. Okay, so let me continue with the second meaning in the dictionary for receive. It says suffer, experience, or be subject to, and yeah, I would let's say that. Suffer, experience, or be subject to. That's meaning for receive.
The question one must ask oneself is, what picture are we trying to paint to give us the precise meaning? Intellectually, it might be helpful, but it still doesn't give that clear picture.
Okay, so please, could you say something, give a good definition on this meaning of the word receive?
In the word giving, we had mentioned an outflow from one to another. In the expression to receive, one also uses similar expression, an inflow. So
Yes. Yes.
the end point is the receiver. So we have an inflow into another. That's what it means to receive. Whether it be goods or thoughts or intuitions, it is an inflow.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes. Yes. So we will go with that. Inflow, uh, outflow for giving, and inflow for receiving.
Correct.
Okay. Um, okay. Now, the actual title for the discussion tonight is Only in Giving Can You Receive. And one of the people I asked to help with questions sent me some questions, and they said, why is giving an important act in creation?
Basically, when you examine creation itself, the process of examination requires the personality to exert itself. And in accordance with these laws of creation, that process of examination requires effort.
Right. That's very, how can I say, helpful in understanding this
Yeah, I
picture.
remained silent because there was noise in the background.
Oh, apologies. I just moved a little bit. Apologies, listeners. So, Gregory, what I was responding to you is that thank you for your answer there about why is giving important act in creation, because you said that you need to exert. It's effort is required, and exertion is required from us.
Correct.
So, that helps us to get that picture. Why is it important? Giving important. Um, so why is it even important in creation? Um, Actually, Gregory, we always say we receive things from nature, and that is always giving to us. The nature is always giving to us. We live on this planet Earth, which came through nature. All the food and everything basically is provided through nature for us. Yes, we do use nature for let's say growing things ourselves as well, or what we find on this earth and use it for our living on the earth, but the materials and everything have been provided by nature originally. So you can see that if we don't have that, if we didn't have that giving from nature, we couldn't really do anything. Now, so it's an important act just from there as well. So I'm just trying to think now. So that's in nature already, giving. Now, I just want to ask, the receiving, Gregory, we're talking in human activity now. You can give, and then if it's to another human being, let me. No, we're talking about us receiving. I just want to get that picture clear. So only in giving can you receive. So let's talk from person A. If the person A gives, they cannot receive. And I'm guessing we're talking about two people here. So let's look at that first, Gregory. When we say only in giving can you receive, are we talking giving between human to human, or human and, I don't like this word, non-human, but can you go further, Gregory, into this giving and receiving? Is it only between human beings or other things?
It is not limited to the human personalities alone. The laws of creation, which is the reference framework which we utilize in every activity, these laws of creation stipulate very clearly that of the attraction of homogeneity, and that also of the laws of returns or of reciprocal activity. So these giving and subsequently receiving, in giving, effort is made to make use of that which is within the individual to attract or to receive that which is in creation to a large extent ready-made. And in these attractions, there is beforehand the personality has received. Having received, it needs to make use of that which it has received. Therefore, the goodness that it has received must be utilized in accordance with the creative laws. That means it must be passed on to others who also have to receive of this goodness. Therein lie the dynamics of creation, of motion of the reception of goodness and the dissemination of goodness to others.
Thank you for that answer, Gregory. What we're seeing here is a process. We talked about law, the law of returns or reciprocal action, and the law of attraction of homogeneous species, which you've mentioned there, and so we are, by giving, we're activating this law, or not activating, but working with these laws. and they bring the, you could say, the response to what we actions or whatever actions we take. So it's like we have to be in harmony with these laws to produce, you could say, the results. Let me ask, you could say, a silly question, Gregory. What if we stopped giving or not giving at all? What would happen?
What that means or implies is that which we ourselves have received remains stuck with us, and in that case, the pressure which is built up in motion, that pressure is within us. That pressure will cause some injury deep within us because it is equivalent to having inhaled. That means having breathed in without breathing out. Now one can have a picture of the pressure that will build deep within the individual. That's goodness, that which one has received in its intuition, in its thoughts, and in its physical activities, that then remains with us. And if we do not make use of it for the benefit of others, that builds a pressure which is equivalent or which is similar to having taken in air and subsequently holding it without allowing it to go out.
Wow, Gregory, that's incredible. That example you just said, if you breathe in air and don't allow it to go out, it's so you're like killing yourself. In one way, you can say it, you have been given something and you're not using it, and it has to sort of, in a way, it must, what you have been given must be used, or let's say it must be used in the right way. And if you don't use that, then it hurts you, or it hits you back in a very harmful way. So what you're given has to be used, let's say, in the right way. So that's bring your mind to make you alive about what the, you could say, what life is about. So Gregory, we always think about life, it should be a balance. So is there some way we are supposed to measure when let's say we give something, then we should expect something in this, let's say, equal amount in receiving? Is there some sort of expectation when we give? Should we have such an expectation?
The expectations are basically what one may refer to as returns. But the measure of returns that you yourself mentioned is almost impossible to gauge, for there are returns in physical materiality, there are returns in thoughts, and there are returns in intuition. Each one of these different categories is so big, is so enriched, that which one has given may not even be compared to that which he himself or herself has received.
Thank you for this answer and the picture there, Gregory, because maybe we don't think, we think about things the way we see them, and in reality, let's say, something which you think is only having one-sided effect is actually having a multi-sided effect, and you wouldn't know it, maybe be aware of it. So thank you for pointing that out. You have you could say the earthly effect. You have like the physical thought, physical action, then the thoughts you mentioned, and then there's also the spiritual, which you don't see. So thank you for that. I'm thinking, going back to nature, nature gives in abundance, Gregory, more than what we need, food, things, although I know the world may be suffering, but let's say in the normal circumstances, there's so much abundance out there from nature, and let's say from what we grow and what we get back, and so on. So, and I'm also thinking of when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about the balance. So, Gregory, first of all, I want to say the giving brings joy. Nature brings joy with what it produces. So I'm just thinking, Gregory, why is there like in nature in abundance? Why is that? Is there something? What is the reasoning for abundance, if I can say like that, in this world?
Well, in this world, there are many creatures, not only the human species, and nature provides for all the species in creation. And therefore, there is the need to ensure that all that those who inhabit creation, all that they need is adequately provided for. Hence the abundance. That you have the abundance of oxygen, because oxygen is needed. Would you prefer that oxygen is rationed?
No. Thank you for that again, that picture, Gregory. So as usual, we easily focus on ourselves and forget about other things, and we are not the only ones here. So yes, that really makes sense. So thank you for that. I want to tell listeners, this is Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program, and the aim of this show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the GRAIL message by Uprushin. If you are interested to know more about the GRAIL message or want to get a copy of the GRAIL message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that: www.grail, G-R-A-I-L, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is only in giving can you receive. Only in giving can you receive. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044793964. 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1. Blessed Radio 1, number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1 again. Space live stream. That's for the live show. And you can listen to the recording of this show also on YouTube the next day. Go to again youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space GRAIL Message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is Only in Giving Can You Receive. And we're also broadcasting on, and I just checked this before I said it, it's Zeno, sorry, yes, Zeno.fm / Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again. Now, Gregory, you know, we talked about giving and receiving in 3 different levels. That's, you could say, in the physical act, in the thoughts, and in the spiritual, you could say, aspect as well. Now, if you do a physical deed, is the response only in, so receiving of that deed, is that only in the physical? And similarly, if you have a thought, is the response only in the thought? And also thirdly, I'm sort of adding to this question, and if you do a spiritual act, is the response only in the spiritual?
Well, thanks for this particular question. One will find that a spiritual activity in which one's intuition carries the power for the prosecution, that activity
Sorry, Gregory, yeah, go ahead.
May register itself in one's thoughts. In that particular case, it is said that one's intuition is in harmony with one's thoughts. Therefore, reciprocal action in one's intuition may also bring benefits to one's thoughts if they are in harmony. The same thing happens if one's thoughts is in harmony with one's physical activities, then you will find that those thoughts that had triggered the physical activities, the reciprocal activity in that particular scenario will be of benefit to one's thoughts and also to one's physical activities. That means there will be good returns. This only holds when one has harmony. Harmony between one's intuition and one's thoughts, or harmony between one's thoughts and one's physical activities. If, however, there is disharmony between any 2 or 3 of these, you will then have that the environment which we ourselves have cultivated that environment holds very tight, and we live in that environment as if it forms our aura, such that when that which is good, which has resulted from that which is physical, when the returns come, if our environment do not harmonize with the content of that which returns, it will have no impact as such on us. Means that that which is good, although it has reached us and we have sunk to such a level, it means we do not resonate with that which is good. The same thing happens to that which is bad. So one can see very clearly how we build the environment within us in such a way to allow or to disallow that which is good or that which is bad from having an impact on us personally.
Thank you so much for this answer, Gregory. Another question came up in my mind. If somebody who, let's say, is a believer in God or in a particular faith, and then does the good, with all genuineness, if we can say that way, thoughts, deeds, thoughts, and intuition. And if another person who does not have a faith, maybe doesn't even believe in the Creator, and yet still does all this deeds, thought, and intuition in genuineness, as you said, they are, you could call it aula in a line, would they both receive the same result? So if somebody is of a faith, believing, God doing some act with thought, deed, and intuition of genuinely, is that the same? Will it have the same result as the one who doesn't have this belief?
The laws of creation through which all that exists came into existence takes no account of belief or lack of belief, for it will return to each personality that which, due to their activities, has matured and returned to them. So it will not say, because this person believes or does not believe, the fruits which should mature, the fruits of nature that should mature for the enjoyment of all, therefore these fruits should not mature. That has never happened. There are many persons here on earth who need food to survive, to refresh the body. They don't have to believe in the Almighty or not believe. All these are immaterial. For that which is good returns to each personality, that which they themselves have cultivated. So it's not a matter of belief or not belief. However, as the human personality matures, gradually, evidence will be presented to it through its activities, such that it becomes clear to it as to the source from whence all that which is good comes. in that particular case, in a step-by-step fashion, it builds the confidence. And from confidence through activities, it then has the courage. Then the caricatures which have been built in the past as regards the activities of the Almighty in creation, those caricatures will vanish because it is the caricatures that many a personality that say they are atheists, it is those caricatures that they reject.
Thanks again, Gregory, for this answer and picture you've given there. Another question. You know, the giving, we can picture it quite easily because we are doing that giving, you can say, or and then the receiving, let's say it's coming from some, let's say, not directly from us, it's through nature, let's say, right? I would like to just check you could say the timing of the returns when you give something, Gregory. Is there a way some things, Gregory, will happen in this earth life, and because you've mentioned in the past about reincarnation, and then some results will come maybe in the next earth life. So I'm wondering, Gregory, is there any like some mechanism that determines when the result will come? Yeah, or whatever actions or thoughts we have or do, is there like a time scale for the returns, this life or the next life?
In the purity of one's thoughts, in the purity of one's intuition, there will be reciprocal activities, which reciprocal activities will gather so much in accordance with the attraction of that which is homogeneous. And in the gathering of that which is homogeneous, some of it which will have to manifest in the earthly plane may take quite some time. The same thing in thoughts and the same thing in one's intuition. As to when precisely it has to manifest depends on one's purity. So you may have that the individual in his or her life has varying alternation between goodness and not so good, between pure thoughts and not so pure. What is clear is that there will be reciprocal activity, but as to precisely when it must manifest for each individual, that is left in creation, and it is the activities in creation that will then drive these reciprocal activities towards the individual. Even you may have cases where the maturity of the returns to that individuals are very near, but they will not have any impact on the individual because he or she has not taken notice of all this or had made himself or herself unworthy, yet at the same time expecting returns, which returns have been nearest to him or her. but we're unable to penetrate.
Thank you for this answer, Gregory. Yes, I'm going to reflect on that a bit more. Now, another question. Let's say these are the laws that we've talked about, from laws of nature, which is the law of reciprocal action and the law of homogeneous attraction of homogeneous species, and so far. And we just talked, let's say, about human activity there. What about the darkness or the devil and Lucifer? Does he, or the devil, Lucifer, does he have any impact in how the outcome of these laws work when we do a deed? How does the Lucifer or darkness, I don't know if I'm right to refer to them in the same way, but let me just say it this way for now. Does the darkness or Lucifer, the devil, let's say, have what impact does it have when we do a deed?
The darkness, or what I should refer to Lucifer, can only influence the individual if the individual opens itself to such an influence. For a personality that strives to listen to its intuition, for a personality that allows its noble intuition to have an impact on his thoughts, and also allowing the thoughts to have an impact on his physical activity, such a personality will build an environment around itself, so much so that that which is dark will not approach it. If, however, that which is dark dares to approach, then the impact of the darkness will be minimized. Therefore, one should not consider most of the time, considering that the individual, that Lucifer or the darkness will come and push it away from that which it needs to achieve in a noble manner. That does not happen. It is only when the individual opens itself to the darkness, then, in accordance with homogeneity, the darkness is let in. If the darkness is not let in, it can have minimal impact.
Thank you very much again, Gregory, for this answer. Another question, which is to do with, let's say, to do with a bit wealth, in a way. Only in giving, as we said, the topic is tonight, only in giving can one receive, or can you receive. And the question is saying here, but materialists look at this law from only an earthly standpoint and argue that some very selfish people can become materially wealthy. I'm just trying to understand this question. Somebody's put it forward to me, so I'm just trying to say that. And is it really true if one meticulously sifts through matter, even in prototype matter? So I'm just trying to understand this question before I put it to you, Gregory. Okay, so I'm going to say it this way, Gregory. I'm just putting it my way of putting it. If somebody's wealthy and they don't share their wealth, so do not give out their wealth to others, let's say, what impact would that have on that person? Because the way I think that what is behind this question, Gregory, we know there are people who are suffering and don't have the resources to live, let's say, in a, I'm going to say, I don't want to use the word comfortable, but in a healthy way, let's say, or not in a happy way. They're just struggling. Some people are struggling, and others who are wealthy have more than the resources than they really need. So is this like if a wealthy person does not give some of his wealth to the poorer ones, is there some negative impact onto the wealthy person for not giving, because you're supposed to be giving for you to receive? So it's not the thing, what you have is not only for you. That's the implication there. So is that right, Gregory? Is there some negative impact if a wealthy person doesn't sort of share his wealth with the poor people?
First, the expression wealth has been taken wrongly to consider that which is of material alone. There is spiritual wealth. There is wealth in thoughts. By wealth, one is referring to an abundance at the command, an abundance for the use of another. Now, when one considers that which is earthly, in which the abundance that is referred to here is the abundance of material wealth, then the person, in quotes, who enjoys this must ask itself, what impact does that abundance in materiality have on his way of thinking, or has on his intuitions? If there is the abundance of material things which does not trigger the person to reflect deeply, then that personality is wealthy in material things but wretched in thoughts. The same thing goes for that which is of spirit. That personality who has a lot, or which has abundance in materiality, but has minimal in one's intuition. That means this materiality has no impact on the thoughts, has no impact on one's intuition for it to mature. Then that person is wretched spiritually. So one can now see that the abundance in one area does not automatically mean that there is the abundance in thoughts or abundance in spirit. At the same time, one must learn, for those who lack so much abundance, or who have very little, that they may not ask someone to grant to them what that person has not got. For one who is not endowed with good thoughts, why would you expect that person to grant you good thoughts, to give you material things? For one who has not struggled to ensure that it's of high spirituality, why should others be expecting from that person to grant them what he himself lacks? In that particular case, each personality must strive to understand that they may not ask from fellow human spirits that which the person they are asking of these things lack. So there must be a balance in these matters. If, on the other hand, the personality that has the abundance seeks deep within themselves and wishes to share, then all the more will be the blessing in return. It's a very simple example. The abundance which is mentioned here, if one looks into the arts, you may have someone who is rich in abundance in knowing how to sing. And in singing or in playing an instrument brings joy and happiness to others. That is the abundance which is of benefit. An abundance in materiality which is of benefit, which triggers good thought, which triggers one intuition because it brings joy and happiness to others. There is the so-called the abundance of money, which, if one is not careful, only brings envy along the line, which envy drags everyone down. So people must be mobile. They must try to be mobile in their thoughts, in their intuition, and in whatever expectation, rather than looking at others who have it, in quotes, and wishing that that which they have, which they might have worked hard for, they are bound to share it. That is an unjust demand on others. He or she who voluntarily share that which he or she has, be it material abundance or thought abundance or intuitive abundance, that personality will reap also in abundance. So in these matters, there must be a balance. Don't expect from the times to give to you that which others are unable on their own right now.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for your answer there. I've got one other question to follow. Before I do that, dear listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of this show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the GRAIL message by Abdushin. If you are interested in knowing more about the GRAIL message or want to get a copy of the GRAIL message for yourself, you can go to this website, com. I'll spell that. www.message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is only in giving can you receive. Only in giving can you receive. You can ask any question or if you have any questions or any comments, please contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1, again, space, live stream. And you can listen to the recording of this show also on YouTube, but the next day, go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space, GRAIL message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is only in giving can you receive. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows as well, also on YouTube. Thirdly, we're broadcasting on Zeno, that's ZENO.FM / Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again. Now, Gregory, we talk about harmony and balance. And, when there's, let's say, a relationship like partnership, let's say in a marriage, and there may be expectation of the partners to do, let's say, I don't know how to put it, equal work or 50-50, effort from both sides, 50% effort from each side, to feel let's say, as I said, to have this harmony and balance. And what might be happening in, let's say, in reality, that one partner is thinking that they're putting more effort and the other one is not pulling their weight, as they say, and not giving their full commitment as to the relationship. And so this one partner who's giving more may feel resentment towards the other partner because of this expectation of this, you could say, 50-50 partnership. Now, so what I want to ask there, Gregory, is this the right, is this expectation right? Let me say that, to have this 50-50 expectation that each person should give 50, put this both partners should give equal effort into this relationship.
Again, thanks for this particular question. Maybe one should look at a counter question in the sense that many are expecting a 50-50 relationship. In the case of a mother or a mother-to-be, how much effort can the man put in to take the stress, the strain and the challenge of motherhood. Can the man share of these challenges personally, deep within himself? Never. So, where comes this so-called 50-50? As many know, you have, as you have with many, football games. Of course, the striker or the goal scorer is the one that goes out to score the goals. And then there is someone who keeps the goal. We call that person the goalkeeper. And do you want to expect a 50-50 relationship when you have that in which there are dire needs? One for all and all for one. That is the law. That is what is expected where you have a union, where there will be maturity, maturity in deeds, maturity in thoughts, and maturity in one's intuition, true recognition. So, that expectation of 50-50 is highly local, is highly intellectual, and breeds that which is unhealthy. There is no gift that a personality can give back to a mother that has carried them for 9 months. So all the talk that many harbor, all their intuitions might have been highly distorted. For they only need to come down to examine things objectively. Of course, there are balances, but the balance has nothing to do with the so-called 50-50 in intellectual activities, 50-50 in physical activities. There are balances through one's intuition, through one's thoughts, through one's physical activities, the protection for the family, the goodwill for the family. So relationship as have been defined currently, those relationships are faulty and are bound to collapse if that expectation of 50-50 is what is desired.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer you're giving there. And your analogy with football as well. It just really, that was just one analogy you gave, but really, it just makes it clear cut that these things are not really to be measured. The gifts are the efforts being done or being given are beyond, in a way, measure. And so I've got a couple more questions related to measuring, but I would still like to go forward with those ones. So, so Gregory, let's say somebody did something to help us, and does that mean we need to repay them? And this is not in money necessarily, it could be anything. So somebody's helped us, and do we need to repay that person who helped us as a way to, you could say, achieve the balance?
The repayments, many repayments, do not express itself in the way many of us expect. I will give you a very simple example. One watched a program in which they have to save these people that were coming across the channel, and they were in a boat, a small dingy boat, almost about 30 of them, and the Coast Guard were called to support. They came and found in these dingy boats children, women. They took all of them and brought them to England, out of England. When they had all alighted, one of the little boys turned to the rescuer and said, "You are my friend, thank you." That alone touched this man to the core, and he wept. He sobbed. That simple thanks, calling some other person my friend. Here is a boy, maybe about 5 or 6. The only expression of thanks is that you are my friend. So, he who has given, even in the line of duty, had a response so profound that that man that did his duty could not have found somewhere else. So, we are talking about human personalities. Many an opportunity is provided for the human beings to experience and mature. It is the maturity they themselves have cultivated that grants them recognition in order to be able to live aright in accordance with the laws of creation through which they all came into existence. So, holding measures as to how this I will be paid back, such are distorted measures. Hello, are you there?
Oh, sorry, Gregory, I was on mute. Apologies. I was talking, but I didn't know I was on mute. So apologies, listeners. What I was saying, Gregory, thank you for your answer there. What I was thinking, Gregory, people somehow naturally, if I put that in quotes, like to compare their situation with others. And then somehow this is how they see how they are doing, if that is good or not so good when they compare with others, their own situation, and then the consequence of that comparison can be, if somebody they think has done better than them, they feel more down and feel like that they need to do better somehow this can happen, I mean, people might be wondering what is that got to do with giving and receiving, but it can, you know, somebody thinks, oh, this person's giving more and I'm not giving so much. And you start, as I said, the question is really about comparing. So my question, Gregory, is it right to compare your situation with other people's situation?
It is right to compare your initial states to the current states. For in considering your initial states, how you were yesterday, how you were a few seconds ago, if you then compare to how you are now, you will find whether there has been improvement or there has been no improvement. If, however, you are comparing yourself with another, you yourself, you are not sure of the state of that personality, whether the person is sinking or whether the person is rising. So it is not comparison with others that leads to one's maturity. It is that self-intrinsic comparison which considers how much it has matured over time, which time could be an hour, it could be in 5 minutes, it could be in 10 minutes, it could be over years. For one is not running a race with others. The only race one is running is that of self-improvement that will lead to self-recognition, that will enable the human personality to become self-aware in order to arrive back home as a self-conscious human personality.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for your answer there. Now, it is written in the Bible, I believe it's Acts 20, verse 35. I'm just quoting a short bit of it. It is something Jesus said. It is more blessed to give than to receive. What is meant by that, Gregory? It is more blessed. I believe Jesus said this in the Bible. It says, it is more blessed to give than to receive.
The process of giving alone creates or initiates that which the human personality needs to receive automatically. For in the process of giving, that which the human personality needs in creation will automatically be drawn to it. That in itself is spiritual or thought or physical activity. That in that process, the human personality draws strength in all aspects. Therefore, it is more blessed to give.
Thank you for that, Gregory. You know, we've said already, nature gives to us abundantly, and you did answer that when I asked about it a bit earlier, that it's not giving only to us humans, it's other beings there that are receiving as well. So you could understand why it's plentiful or bountiful, you know. So how, Gregory, should we respond for this abundance given by nature to us human beings? Is it giving thanks to nature, or because in a way, it's not, we can't really match nature somehow. So yes, how should we respond for this abundance given by nature to us human beings?
He or she who receives from creation must make use of it and pass it on to others. In that process, he or she initiates joy. Take, for instance, a very simple example, the case of in the arts, where one receives music. He or she receives the music, or how to sing, or how to play an instrument, and this person composes a song, a melody, which melody has come to it through quiet reflection and practice, which melody has matured deep within the human personality, and he or she has now given expression. This expression in the form of music, which gives many joy and happiness to all others. Or were we expecting that the musician should compose music for himself or herself alone? Were we expecting the person who sings to sing for himself or herself alone? That has never been the case. So he or she who receives of the abundance must make use of it in accordance with the laws of creation through which they came into existence, must make use of it and share it with others. Share it with others in such a way that it will bring joy and happiness to others, just as you have in the case of music.
Thank you very much again, Gregory, for this answer. Now I'm going in all different directions in our discussion tonight. So another different direction I want to ask now. Imagine there's a family, Gregory, husband and wife and 3 children. Doesn't really matter the number of children so much, but this is just an example. And the children are still young, okay? And in this relationship, the one partner, let's say husband, decides that this relationship is over, and the wife doesn't think that is really well. First, put it this way: she doesn't want that to happen, and doesn't believe it's like this. But that's what the husband says. He wants to divorce or separate, and he wants to break that relationship. And as I said, there are also 3 children involved here in this case, and so the wife is now feeling very, I said, I don't want to use the word depressed, but very down, and wondering what should happen, what can she do now, because she doesn't want to end that relationship. Only one party wants to end it, and I don't. In this case, I'm just picking up somebody shared something, but I can't say I know any inside information on it. So I don't know how the children, what the response of the children would be as well, to see their dad going to disappear from, or let's say, the breakup of their parents' marriage, let's say. So let's go one thing at a time, Gregory. So there's something happening here. The marriage is broken down because from one side, one party is saying that, and they want to break up, and the other one doesn't want that and doesn't think it's over. So first question on that, Gregory, is when such a situation arises, when two parties are having different view about their relationship and how they want to proceed, the one who is, let's say, unhappy about it, what can they do about this situation? How can they respond to this situation? It's very saddening for them. Maybe that's an understatement. So, how can somebody respond correctly, especially when they see the whole thing differently?
It is quite remarkable. You say they see different things differently. The question each person must ask themselves, did they not see different things differently before they came into a union? Whoever considers that in a union there will be no challenges, that personality has not even started. Of course, there will be challenges. Like many used to sing, the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Would one wish to turn away when the battle is tough? The battle as such that each individual must deal with is their distorted conceptions of what a union is. Only when they themselves come to face these challenges and strive to overcome these challenges, only then will they mature. For in not facing these challenges, the likelihood is there that in another union which they themselves wish to be involved with, a similar challenge might present itself. So there is no end to it. But like the British have a saying, he or she who dares wins. Many of the challenges which across many a couple or in a union are not as tough as they themselves think it is. It is only that tough in their thoughts, in their imagination. Should they work hand in hand to overcome many a challenge? Should they genuinely work hand in hand, many of the challenges, the solution will be found much quicker than when they abscond, leaving one personality to carry the challenges alone. So, living together and having a high goal is necessary for a union. For if there is no high goal, what will be the purpose of a union?
Thank you for this answer and picture you've given there, Gregory. The other party involved here are the three children I mentioned, and they seem to be, you could say, on the surface, innocent victim of this breakup of this marriage. And you might wonder why they need to suffer for this breakup. And so I'm wondering, Gregory, how, I don't even know what question to ask exactly, but are the children, why do the children have to suffer? I know it's inevitable that when the breakup happens, it's not an unusual thing, that the children, let's say, obviously they love their parents. Normally both parents are loved so much, and when they see their parents break up, it's like it's quite a bad effect on the. I don't even know how to describe it really. So it has a terrible impact on them. Um, so the question I want to ask there, Gregory, what can be done for the children in this situation? I mean, first question in a way I want to ask is, have the children done something to deserve this situation? Let me say it like that. Have the children done something to deserve this breakup?
It doesn't necessarily mean the children have done something to deserve or not to deserve this particular scenario. But the children can also experience the challenge, what it is at that tender age to go through such challenges which they themselves cannot put a hand into. For some, it helps to strengthen them in future, never to abandon whoever they themselves have chosen to work hand in hand with as a couple. For having had these experiences, which experiences for them are bitter, they also learn from it. But also, there will be reciprocity. Reciprocity which will come here or hereafter. The returns which such a couple may have to experience when all has been said and done.
Thank you for that answer there, Gregory. Dear listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's a Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the GRAIL message by Abdushin. And if you're interested to know more about the GRAIL message, you can go to this website. Before I say that, if you're interested to know about the GRAIL message or want to get a copy of the GRAIL message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, G-R-A-I-L, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is only in giving can you receive. Only in giving can you receive. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. Again, you can call, you can text, call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space live stream. That's for the live show. You can listen to the recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space, GRAIL Message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is Only in Giving Can You Receive. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows as well, also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1. Now, I want to read something a listener sent me about, you could say it's their reflection about the topic we've chosen tonight, which is only in giving can you receive. So I'm just going to read it out. They say, more than a reflection, here I find words that express the law of divine compensation and give meaning to what many human beings should naturally emulate. The law of divine compensation is a powerful principle that reminds us of the power of giving. It states that by giving, we open ourselves up to receiving in return. The law emphasizes the importance of being a giver rather than a taker in life. It is a reminder that the energy we put out into the world will come back to us in some form or another. By understanding and applying the law of divine compensation, we can experience greater happiness, mindfulness, and awareness in our lives. We can radiate positive energy, awakening the goodness within ourselves and others. When we focus on giving and serving others, we create a harmonious, euphonic environment which brings peace and joy. The law of divine compensation is not just a spiritual concept, but also a practical one. When we give generously, we create a flow of abundance that comes back to us in different forms. It could be financial compensation, emotional support, or opportunities for personal growth. This law reminds us that there are infinite possibilities for compensation when we approach life with a giving heart. To truly embody the law of divine compensation, we must practice giving without expecting anything in return. We must give from a place of genuine love and compassion, rather than from a place of obligation or expectation. When we give freely with an open heart, we create a positive energy that reverberates throughout the world. The law of divine compensation teaches us that our actions have consequences, and that we can create positive change in the world by giving selflessly. It reminds us that giving is not only a virtuous act, but also a powerful way to attract abundance and joy into our lives. Let us strive to be givers and not takers, to give generously and with an open heart, and to trust in the divine law of compensation to bring us fulfillment and compensation that we deserve. So I would like to thank this listener who contributed, who made this statement, I can say. Thank you for these words. they've used the word law of divine compensation, and of course we have talked about the law of reciprocal action. I would say it's the same thing here, that what they've mentioned. So, Gregory, anything you would like to add to that?
The contents are helpful. However, that expression, divine compensation, is completely out of place. The divine does no compensation to anyone. The divine grants. Divinity radiates. It is true love and the will of the Almighty that opportunities have been presented to the spirit personality or the spirit entity as a spirit gem to mature. No compensation from divinity. It is. Much as one will take a lot of the contents as helpful, but that expression, divine compensation, belittles divinity. For divinity is, grants, expect nothing in return, and may not be categorized in its activities as a compensation. For the human spirit, the human personality has cause to be grateful for the opportunities that have been granted to it to mature, to live from or to commence from an unconscious state to consciousness and to self-consciousness.
Thank you for this point you made there, Gregory. I'm going to continue this discussion a little bit further now in this direction. I just want to say to the listeners, the topic we chose tonight is, as you know, only in giving can you receive. That's how it is, simply. And I want to let the listeners, know, this topic was chosen based on the quote, which is in the GRAIL message, and I just want to read that part of it in the GRAIL message, and then we can discuss that a bit further. So this is in the lecture in the GRAIL message, in the Light of Truth by Abdul Sheen. And the lecture is called Awake, and I'll just read the reference where we got this topic for tonight. It says, an eternal law operates in the universe that only in giving can one receive, where lasting values are concerned. Like a sacred legacy of its creator, this law deeply permeates the whole of creation. To give unselfishly, to help where help is needed, and to understand both the suffering and the weaknesses of your fellow men means to receive, because it is a simple and true way to the highest. I'm just going to read that again, just so that people can get that opportunity to take it in. So this is, I'm reading now this reference about the topic tonight, which is only in giving can one receive. And this is from the lecture Awake in the GRAIL message. And this is the reference. An eternal law operates in the universe that only in giving can one receive, where lasting values are concerned. Like a sacred legacy of its creator, this law deeply permeates the whole of creation. To give unselfishly, to help where help is needed, and to understand both the suffering and the weaknesses of fellow men means to receive, because it is the simple and true way to the highest. So, Gregory, I was going to break it down a bit, but I think I will just ask you, uh, what does these words mean?
My thoughts is that I thought they were self-explanatory
Hmm.
in the sense that to be able to receive, one must have initiated an activity. That one is able to receive what the personality receives may be pleasant, may be unpleasant. That which the person needs for its maturity is that which is able to attract to itself such that is able to weigh aright, is able to examine aright, and then make use of it to bring it profit. One can also consider the scenario where, for many a person, they need to exert themselves rigorously to be able to master a particular language. As at the time they are making that effort, there may be complaints that this is too hard. But before long, that which sounded unpleasant, having dug oneself into it, one was now able to see the benefits of overcoming this type of challenges. So the statement made there is self-explanatory, beneficial to the human personality from all sides.
Thank you for that answer, Gregory. I know you said it's self-explanatory, but this last line, I would like if you can say more about it. I'll just repeat that. Well, when I say last line, it's a long line, but I will say to give unselfishly, to help where help is needed, and to understand both the suffering and weaknesses of your fellow man means to receive, because it is the simple and true way to the highest. So that bit about simple and true way to the highest. What is meant in there, the highest?
When one examines again the so-called last part you mentioned, where one may take a simple illustration in which the challenges, one has children and there is the need to educate these children to high standard. In that particular scenario, the children have challenges in the language in which they must learn to understand aright. You yourself need to make the necessary effort to be able to reach the level of these children. In doing that, you as the parent must draw from experiences here and there to be able to reach these children. For the children, the weaknesses which they have currently is their lack of understanding. For you who have been granted the opportunity, it is an opportunity to improve yourself, not only in helping your children, but also many a karma which would have returned and would have hit you severely. But in making that necessary effort, you have now drawn strength deep within yourself and have strived to reach those who are not of the same standard as yourself. In drawing of the strength, you build around yourself the environment which has been talked about again and again, the ennobling environment, such that you yourself will rise higher. So whatever it is, whatever challenge that has been thrown along your track, depending how you yourself respond to this challenge, you then have the inner attitude being able to draw of spiritual strength, of strength in thoughts, and also strength in deeds, in physical deeds. So it is a win-win scenario. That is part of what is referred to as those areas you yourself just read. You are on mute.
Thank you, Gregory. Again, I was speaking without knowing that I was on mute, so thank you for that. Thank you for your answer, Gregory, and the picture you painted there. Yes, what I'm seeing there is that, like you say, it's a win-win situation that people will use those words win-win. You do something, yes, you get the reward for that, but also normally we don't do things on our own, we do with other people, we interact with other people. So they also, when we do that in the, you could say the genuine and in whatever we give in a genuine way and in the way in accordance with these laws of nature that we have mentioned, then the reward also will be profiting us as well. Not only profit us, but also profit others as well. So it's a really something incredible. So yes, so thank you for that. Now we've come to the end of the show, listeners. Hope you enjoyed our discussion on the topic of only in giving can you receive. And I'd like to read, as I like to do, from the foreword of the GRAIL message, which is titled, For Your Guidance. The bandage falls, and belief becomes conviction. Liberation and redemption lie only in conviction. I'm addressing earnest seekers only. They must be able and willing to examine this matter objectively. Religious fanatics and irresponsible enthusiasts may hold aloof, for they are detrimental to the truth. As for the malevolent and prejudiced, they shall find their sentence in the very words. The message will strike only those who still carry within them a spark of truth and the yearning to be true human beings. To all such, it will become the shining light and staff. It will lead them unswervingly out of all the chaos of the present day confusion. The following word does not bring a new religion, but is intended as the torch to help all serious listeners or readers find the right path, which leads them to the longed for height. Only he who bestirs himself can advance spiritually. The fool who uses extraneous aids for this, in the form of ready-made opinions of others, only walks his path as if on crutches, while ignoring his own healthy limbs. But the moment he boldly uses all the abilities which lie dormant within him, awaiting his call to help in his ascent, he is employing the talent entrusted to him in accordance with his Creator's will, and will easily overcome all obstacles that seek to divert him. Therefore, awake. Genuine faith lies only in conviction, and conviction comes solely through an inflexible weighing and examining. See that you are truly alive in the wonderful creation of your God, Aprushim. So, dear listeners, if you wish to get more information on the GRAIL message or want to get a copy of the GRAIL message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, G-R-A-I-L, message, MESSAGE.com. And as I said, we've come to the end of the show. Gregory, anything you'd like to say to the listeners, to say goodbye?
Wishing them a beautiful week.
And the same from me, listeners. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back next Tuesday with another topic, new topic. So again, I wish you a great week. God bless. Good night.